Good morning and welcome to today's live show. I hope I didn't freak you out too much over the weekend, but I want to do something funny and take a poll just because I want to see if I freak some people out this week. And remember that we will still be doing all of the closing streams. So if you need more, someone to bounce off of, more time because you're bored sitting at stocks by yourself and you just want to hang out with some people who know some things about technical analysis, or hang out with myself, maybe you guys don't hang out for the chat, but maybe you hang out because of me, and that's perfectly fine with me. But we're paying attention to some key things, and so it's good for us to keep doing these closing streams over on Rumble. The link should be down in the description. Okay, we should have that link down in the description. Someone let me know if it's not, because I'm trying to do something here. But I wanted to start a poll this morning. Please join us for the closing stream over on Rumble. It is completely free. It's more exclusive because there's only a few people there, and there's a lot of people joining over there, right? There's like 100 people every single time that come over, but the chat is much slower. It's much nicer. We don't get those spammers, scammers, and all kinds of things over on Rumble for the close. And sometimes the close is the most important part of the day. Just because big money makes big moves at the end of the day, usually. So we'll have to see. We're looking for any moment this thing could just V-shape on some good news, okay? Just keep that aware. Any moment this thing can start to crash again, crash. Right now you're technically, seeing a big downward move, and people really don't like this daily close, so I totally understand the bearishness. And as people are bearish, we just want to be open to looking for if there is a reversal signal, and that's all it takes, right? That's all it takes from us. But I'm going to ask you a question. Did I scare you on Saturday's video? All right. I want to see if you guys got a little freaked out by my intro from Saturday. I thought to me, it was funny. I understand, like it was totally something that I don't like to do. I don't like to bait people, but I made sure that at the very beginning of the video, you guys knew that was a bait. And I saw some of the comments, and people were like, yeah, I don't really pay attention to if someone else says crash, but hey, if you're saying crash, then it really freaks me out because it's not something that you say is 100%, right? I always say nothing's 100% in the market. So hopefully if you've been a part of this channel for a while, you kind of realize what was going on there. Do we even need good news? How bearish retail is? Black Monday was the theme for YouTubers this weekend. I know, Oakland Group, I know. Isn't that kind of wild? That this weekend, we literally had people calling Black Monday for tariffs. For tariffs. Like, I just can't. I just can't. If you think a market crash by, like, if you think the 50% market crash that people think is going to happen, and maybe the 40% bear market or 30% bear market is going to happen because of a tariff, the tariffs would have to go on for a long time, and you're going to go into most likely a bear market if it's because of tariffs. So that'll be very interesting to see how people position themselves this week. But I still think that I'm going to be just betting on the other side, and I'm perfectly comfortable doing so and holding that position, actually. So unless we see something absolutely dire or whatever, I'm giving myself that time, that more amount of time, that more amount of risk. That way I can make sure to understand if the reversal signals come, but I just wanted to see if I was able to do it. And so this is why I also put in the portion of the video that just said, hey, don't try to trade like me. You have no idea what I'm doing. I'm doing things a lot differently right now just to test myself. Always pushing myself. Okay. If this daily, though, does cross down, remember what we talked about, right? What are the two things that we talked about here and here? What are we looking for down at these levels? What are we looking for, right? When I say YouTube click, I don't award them by clicking on the video. True story. Well, hopefully Short Fridays, you didn't click on my video and you realized that was a complete bait, okay? Hopefully you didn't click on that video then, because I really just wanted to send people's emotions kind of wild for a second and then ground you, right? I wanted to show you how you're overreacting when you could just be like, okay, yeah, this is really bad, right? It can get good though. Okay. What's the song? What's the word? What? It's always darkest before the dawn, or something like that. Okay. That is true, right? And if this is going to go straight into darkness, okay, we're going to see this daily cross down. It's most likely not going to cross up, or if it crosses back up, it is going to fail. Or if it crosses up, it's going to fail here, right? A lot of different things can happen, but I think people are way too bearish here. I personally think people are way too bearish, and I just think we're going to see maybe some chop, right? This could last for the entire week. Now, why could this last for the entire week? Well, the good signals we had here that gave you this about, was it 5 to 6% run? You don't have those signals here, right? So we could have a lot of time this week to figure this out. We could have a lot of time to really figure out, are we going to go up in the next few days? We have a lot of time if this thing wants to shoot lower. It doesn't have to do this, this, and this, right? All these divergences that we caught, all this stuff. Hey, it led to some great trades. But we don't see that right here, do we? No, we don't. And the thing is, you could see that down here. That's why I overall, even though we're going into shorter time frames, we're mainly looking at 4-hour charts. We're mainly looking at daily charts. This will be a very good way this week to open things up. Look at a 4-hour, look at a daily, and then you can look at those shorter time frames and see if you get a hint. See if you get a hint, right? But sometimes you don't get a hint. So remember in the video we were discussing this low. All right, so I wanted to show you this low on the shorter time frames live. I didn't really have time to do it in the video, right? I wanted to show you this. This is a daily divergence. Look, flat on the MACD, flat on the RSI. That's a divergence, right? Because it's dramatically down, and these are flat, all right? It's a kind of an equal one. Not necessarily the best one in the world, but with how crazy this is, that would be considered significant with the price action when you compare the two. But what did we get down here? Did we get any kind of hint? Well, let's go look. Because what likes to turn around a daily chart? A 2-hour divergence, right? This is everything we learn in the course, right? We look for those 2-hour divergences. They're great hints, but we're also paying attention if things V-shape. And I wanted to show you this low. This low down here did not have divergence. Did not have divergence, right? So paying attention to a bigger time frame here at the same time, looking for those hints, that's fine. But once you start to see it go up, you just go, okay, well, let's look at that daily scale. Okay, the daily scale curled up on this gap. All right, I can maybe make some investment decisions. Or maybe a trade decision. And look how we went above the high. That's great. So this is what we're overall talking about. Notice a V shape, it can get aggressive. And so if this thing does cross down, just be ready. But down here, you did not have 2-hour signals. Let's see if you had 30-minute signals. Right? I actually haven't looked, right? I actually haven't looked if we had 30-minute signals down in these areas. So down in these areas, we do notice that you had one big dip down. You had a little pop right here that actually curled up the MACD for a brief moment, and you got a 30-minute signal. So even in these areas, all you got was a 30-minute divergence down here between the lows, right there on your RSI, if I could make it so you guys can kind of see it. Boom on the RSI. Boom on the MACD. Okay, cool. So we actually got a 30-minute divergence here. That's a great hint. That's what we're going to watch for. We're going to watch for any kind of hints that this V-shape can come. If these hints don't come, it is very likely that we could, or actually it's not very likely, but it is likely that we are going to continue down to lower levels, right? If we don't see a divergence here, then we're probably going to here. If we don't see a divergence here, we could go down to here. But I would highly be encouraging people to look at bigger time frames as well. Just because you don't see it on the 30-minute doesn't mean there isn't a daily signal down here. Doesn't mean there isn't a 4-hour signal down here. Doesn't mean there's not a 4-hour signal down here. Okay, so looking at the bigger time frames is going to be very important this week. And this could last some time. This could last all the way into some data. Right? This could last all the way into data, some big data, right? So obviously today, housing starts, Chicago PMI, Dallas Fed manufacturing. Okay, all right, cool. But we go down, then we get JOLTS job openings. Tomorrow's going to be a big day. ISM manufacturing PMI. Tomorrow's going to be a bigger day with data. Oh, look, Wednesday, kind of nothing, but ISM Services PMI on Thursday. Okay, we go down a little bit further, and I think this is what's going to be important. Right there. I think these two pieces of data are going to be pretty important. All right, non-farm payrolls and unemployment on Friday. So you see how if they wanted to, they could sit and rip, and by they, I just mean if people, individual people wanted to, and big money wanted to at the same time, we could really rip around this market for a while and do something like this. right? And create something like this right over here and here. So let's just see if it takes place. If we get a hint, that's awesome. We'll be mentioning it on this channel if there's a hint. Those hints can fail, right? So always have a plan for if it goes wrong. It doesn't mean, hey, if we see a 30-minute divergence here, then we're going to do this. It doesn't mean, hey, we're going to see a 30-minute divergence here, we're going to do this. We can. And if the daily crosses, I think it's very probable that we start to build this market back, potentially going to maybe even all-time highs at the end of it. But for the time being, things are pointing down. Things are pointing down. Things are pointing down. And you don't have those little 30-minute hints, right? So let's just pay attention. Let's see if we do get a hint. If we don't, we have bigger time frames to look at. Right? That's the mentality we need to have. Is this is pretty serious. We don't have any shorter time frame reversal signals, so it can continue to be serious. But if a V shape comes, if I don't get a hint, then I might be looking at those bigger time frames, and I think that's a perfectly fine thing to do. As far as this week goes, I wanted to pull up the expiration for Friday, so you guys can see that the biggest level that has the most puts, by the way, a 2.47 put to call ratio. Kind of crazy, but still, they can be right. 545. Where the heck is 545? Where is 545? I know 550 is an important level, 555, but where's 545? Well, the funny thing about 545 is it lands right in between these two areas. So that means we could see price action get down to here. We could see price action trail down to 540 because our weekly expected move is there, and that coincides with the previous lows. Part of me thinks we don't even want to go down here, to be totally honest. But we're going to be watching this thing throughout the day. We're going to be watching this 30-minute chart. If you don't have weekly expected moves or daily expected moves, we do have the daily expected moves in the bottom right corner if we go look around at some stocks. And that's going to be important because you need to understand that a lot of these things, you want to have some options data. I really do think that this is a mostly option-driven market, algorithmic-driven market. And I think they use options to really do that. So I think if you're not paying attention to key data from options, and I would say the best data is a weekly or monthly or daily expected move if you're a little day trader, okay? Well then, you're going to be behind a lot of the time, unless you're someone who's just looking for those little investments, right? Investment signals, right? And this would be one of those. So data will help us out with hitting these levels. We see that 545 seems to be the biggest put level for the week. So it is very unlikely that the market makers would want it to close below 545 because then everyone gets paid out by Friday. So I think we could spend some time down here for a bit, get people nice and bearish, and then I think we're going to see a decision be made. Are we going to see that snap back? Are we going to get reversal signals in some way to give us a hint of that? Or are we going to see it curl down, get some kind of lackluster bounce, and then curl down again on, say, like a 2-hour scale, right? If this starts to break down, crosses up, and then breaks down, and we don't create that divergence here, that's going to be a big problem for this 2-hour chart. So we'll see if that's going to take place. Jerome Powell also talks, I believe, on Friday, just so you are aware, at about 2 hours after the open. So we'll see what happens with that. But remember that we said 550 is very possible. The daily complexity, right? I can even probably look. I don't know what video it was, but I think it was like back in these areas when we were talking about the 30-minute divergence, the 2-hour divergence that could come, and then the daily divergence that could come. So we should be aware of this, right? It's just I'm choosing to assume a little bit more risk because I think there was a chance that we could have squozed here, here, even here. I think we could have done it, but we're not. Is that going to make me freak out and sell everything? Or can I understand, oh, I'm saying that'll happen in the next like month and a half. So, okay, this can do whatever it wants now. I just need to make sure nothing's going completely wrong. And I think that is if a reversal signal fails. I think we're going to get a bounce this week, like almost no matter what. I really do. I think all the percentages are leaning towards we're at least going to build in this area a little bit more. A lot of people are going to look at this and say, oh, this is a simple ABC pattern or something like that, right? I think a lot of the people are just going to be like this, and they could be right. That's why I'm not using them out. That's why I'm not betting the house on everything, right? But if you come down this far, I mean, you're looking like probably this. Okay, so if that big drop comes, I still think a big bounce will come after it. So we'll see. But overall, paying attention to 550, paying attention to 545, and then paying attention to weekly expected move. So it's very nice because you just have boom, boom, boom. This area is going to be fantastic. Hopefully, we remain there for a little bit of time. The best part about this move overall was we had a complaint. Do you remember our complaint? Our complaint was everyone, all the surveys, everything says bearish, 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 put volume really high. The CPC was still at lower levels multiple times, like almost the whole time. People were overall bullish to neutral, according to the CPC, for a long time until you got these two moments we're at now. So now we actually have that opportunity to see people get overly bearish, right? We want to look back and see there are times where people get really bearish for an extended period of time. That didn't necessarily happen, but you're finally getting two little peaks above this. You're actually seeing it in the CPC data, which is something that we were very much so looking for. So that's fantastic. Now, volatility is now up again by 11.17%. Remember that volatility this today and tomorrow do have that 85% chance it's calling an update. It's saying we're going to get some kind of update in the next two trading sessions. That would be today and tomorrow. Turnaround Tuesday? Turnaround Tuesday? All right, I got to see how many people I freaked out. I want to see it. I want to see if you guys freaked out a little bit. Oh, 69% say no. Okay, good. That's really good though. That's really good. I was like, oh man, I got to try to get people's emotions going. If 70% of you guys were not freaked out at all by that intro, that's awesome. I think that's fantastic. I think that's great. And thank you to the 29 people who have liked the stream this morning. So we'll be keeping an eye on it. Patreon members, make sure to keep an eye on Patreon. Most likely there will be multiple posts this week. Most of the time there will be multiple, or actually not most of the time, sorry. This week there will most likely be at least a couple of videos where we go over some stuff. One of them might even be today. Okay, just a reminder. It's mainly just going to be to remind you of what to look for, and we're going to look at some individual stocks that could set up some interesting things. One thing I wanted to check on was Google. Google is just really struggling, but going down to that 153.87, it still could need to make reversal signals here. It is holding the divergence point as of right now. Okay, it can make a rejection divergence pretty quick here. We'll see what happens with it. Another thing I wanted to look for was NVIDIA. I think NVIDIA will be a great opportunity if this thing can shape up and turn back around. You've already gotten confirmation on both the price action, the MACD, and the RSI at the same time. Early signal was a little bit better, right, if I was taking something down. But the good part about this is I have weekly expected moves. This is a great day to join the Patreon because you will get those weekly expected moves for something like NVIDIA. You'll get monthly updated expected moves for something like NVIDIA and a ton of other stocks on the right side of your screen. Okay, monthly expected moves. I'm telling you right now, if we actually confirm a reversal signal for something like NVIDIA, for the SPY, for the Qs, for these stocks that are showing daily divergence, for Google at this point, still holding that point that could create the divergence, a monthly expected move will be very, very, very good to have. Why? Well, because a lot of the time when you make a reversal signal on the daily scale, you are going to see a decent size move. And if that monthly expected move is all the way at, say, like 130, something big, right? You would want to know where that is. You would want to know what the options market is pricing in. Now, there is something else to discuss here. Let's do the SPY for this. We just came to the outside of an expected move to the downside. Something that I did notice when we do V-shape the next month towards the end of the month, right? If we were to do something like this, a lot of the time you go outside of the next monthly expected move. And then sometimes you even use that as support, right? If you squeeze, a lot of the time you do see that monthly expected move violated. So we will pay attention to it, and I will still use the monthly expected move as a take profit in some way, but I will most likely be leaving runners if that is a squeeze at that point, right? So the big thing here is we got to be able to make decisions. We got to be able to see, okay, we're down at a daily expected move. Is this going to be good for us? Is this going to be bad for us, right? All right, let's sit here. Leaving behind a pretty decent sized gap. I'm gonna do that to start off. Sure, I'm looking at these things right. We need to maybe go check on gold for a second. Oh god, guys, I just messed something up really bad. God damn it. You gotta be kidding me, bro. Why? Pisses me off. I'm not gonna lie. Do I have to be? Oh, that's kind of lame. Sorry, guys, I messed something up over here. God, that's so stupid. Ah. I gotta do some on my other screen real quick. Of course, we all make mistakes when clicking buttons. Ah, jeez. Messed that up, though. Oh, gosh. I hate when I do this dumb crap sometimes. All right, SPY continuing to sell off, about to get the confirmation, maybe even down on the daily chart. For the time being, we're going to pay attention to this daily chart, but we're also going to be looking at the 4-hour chart as well for today. We'll be looking at the 30-minute chart too. Okay, we have a lot of things that could go on right here. What are the Qs at? God damn. All right, Q's gapped below the daily expected move. That's kind of a big deal. Now we're starting to point in that downward direction. I'm going to check on the Q's real quick. Over here. For today. That big crash bet. Big crash bet's down towards 420 for the Q's right now. How much have the Q's gone down, by the way? 15. What about the SPY? Which one's holding? Which one's seeing the most? I would assume it's the Q's. Yeah, the Q's. Okay. I just ruined my plan for the entire week with one push of a button, and that is not cool. That's not good. All right. Well, we're going to have to see in the next couple of days now. Damn. All right. Checking on the SPY, chilling, waiting. Now I got to reform my plans. We might have a blip here in the stream for a second. That day. Saying a lot of people targeting that 420. What does this look like? 460 is a big level for the week. For today, can go lower. Then, everybody makes mistakes. Everybody has those days, you know? Oh, gosh. Okay, what about this? Maybe I shouldn't do that. Maybe I should just look somewhere else. Crap. I can't believe I just did that. That is so dumb, Luke. Ugh. All right, we'll be back to it in just a moment. Oh, I can't believe I did that. Okay, well, happens. Happens. Messed up half of it right there. Oh well. We will fix that in a bit. I was doing some math this week, and 30% return. Sorry, hold on. Let me let the chat load. 420, brah. I'm interested in 420 for GME. But that's a date, by the way, not talking about this. Outside of a daily expected move early on, we're going to see how that PCC comes out. It's okay. We'll be able to fix it. It was nothing damning. That's the good part, right? And James Dogwood, thanks for joining just before the stream, or yesterday, I guess. But yeah, I just kind of messed that thing up for a second, but it's nothing we can't save, which is good. That's why the sizing of position, I'll just say that the sizing of positions is very good. I'm thankful that I did that because I just kind of messed something up really bad. It's like forced myself into something and it went. I was just like, oh my goodness, that sucks. Okay. So at the end of this, we're just going to have to sit here and watch, see if we get a hint like over here, see if we get some kind of V-shape. And I think that's all we can really look for for the time being. Volatility, can this tell us anything? Well, as of right now, volatility would say I am very likely to continue. It is very, very likely that this is going to continue, which means it is very, very likely that this could continue, right? The only thing that we're going to be aware of is the fact that we have no reversal signals. The thing that we're really going to be aware of is if it starts to V-shape, we can look at 4-hour charts. We could potentially even look at this 2-hour chart today, right now, right? If that started to build back right now, we see that cross up in the day and you get some good news. But I think the 4-hour and the daily chart will be the best. Sorry about that, guys. I had a little blip there for a bit. Purple lines are the weekly expected moves. The usual. Well, most likely it can. I think $100 is a very good place for NVIDIA to get to. This week, it would be a little bit less likely. Okay, Future House, I'm going to encourage you, if you're wondering how low, if you come into the chat and you say, how low can this stock drop? I'm not going to tell you like, oh, it's going to stop here with 100% confidence. No, we're going to pay attention to certain levels. I think 100, I think our zone is what we want to pay attention to. I mean, look what happened here. We went to our zone, popped up. All right, this zone goes back a ways too. We were talking about a lot of things that happened in these areas and why this zone was marked off. And notice that it's becoming important later. So we're paying attention to the right areas. And then if you really want a hard level, like a hard percentage Future House, okay, a hard percentage, just look at a weekly or monthly expected move. I'm just telling you right now, get something that's based on data. Don't go over to some, YouTubers and say, and they're just like, oh yeah, there is support here. You need more than that, in my opinion. I don't even care that this is here. The only reason that I care that this is over here for the SPY, why do I care about that right now? Yeah, I understand that can be support, but is that going to help me with a trade? Well, this week it can, right? So this week, we have a weekly expected move there. That's why I pointed out this level, right? I would probably have pointed out and been like, yeah, we can find support here. But I talk about it way more seriously when that hard data is just there, all right? So I'm just saying, give the Patreon a try, guys, if you haven't already and you're looking for how low any stock can drop this week. Something that is really going to help you is data. And look at Apple. Apple's not even flushing, really. Apple's still overall, it's still positive on the 2-hour. That's kind of crazy. Now, Tesla is going to be crazy, but Tesla is also still in positive territory. Tesla has like 100% implied volatility, which is pretty crazy. We need your breakout tips. Well, just waiting for confirmation. I'll let you know when you get good confirmation, right? Because on this channel, I like to discuss confirmations, right? Because a lot of the time we have a bad confirmation or a good confirmation. The best example of this was actually GME back when we called that there could be a top here, right? We were like, hey, a squeeze can happen here. This is how it happens, right? It just violates a reversal signal and starts to go. But we also mentioned, okay, you have a weekly or a monthly expected move here. You have divergence. Okay, are these good confirmations? Well, I think it was the 2-hour chart. And the 2-hour chart, I believe it was GME. Wasn't it GME? Am I crazy? Maybe it was the daily. Maybe it was the daily chart. Yeah, it was right here. Okay, so do you see this confirmation? We talk about these all the time. The confirmation here. Why is this a bad confirmation? I kind of circled it. You have it here on the RSI. You have it here on the MACD. So the problem is somewhere in here. Who can point that out? PCC updates usually 15 minutes, 16 minutes after the open. I like milk, just so you're aware. Oh, I still think yields could drop off more so than go extremely up. But if the tariffs get solidified, you can see maybe yields react to that in an inflationary way, meaning go up for a brief moment of time, but it should subside not too quickly. I know whenever I say the word quickly, people think like today or tomorrow or something like that. It's just over a bit of time, those will most likely subside. But we'll go look at yields in a moment. This confirmation here is bad because it is a positive bar, right? It's a positive bar. It's not even closed below the 9. This is a very obvious bad confirmation. Now, if this bar would have went like this and then closed, or even gave me a little red thing like this and closed, and it's still red, still crossed, yeah, okay. That's something I can more so read into. But notice that the bad confirmation led to that next 2-hour move. Then we got the 2-hour to confirm. Then you get the daily signal that says short GME. That says do not be long GME, right? That's what this overall means. It means it is much more risky to see this. So why bet on this? Right? That's what that confirmation means there. There's a bad confirmation. Just so you get a little bit on that. Right click. There we go. Come on now. All right, so let's dig into a 30-minute chart here. Let's sit for a bit and see what happens. Oh, yeah, that's right. And we'll go look at TLT as well. Let me look at yields for a second here. Okay, good. Yeah, yields coming down. So this will be interesting because are we going to see this type of thing happen? And that's what I'm talking about. If we read into it in any way, and inflation with the tariffs comes in, okay, we might see something like this, like a head and shoulders that creates a complex head and shoulders, like a complex right shoulder. So we'll have to see about that. But for the time being, the yields, they look more so like they're going to experience a bigger drop. So we'll see what happens there, paying attention probably to 4%. But that can just be retest and then really drop off as we approach May. So I'd be really looking at what the Fed's going to do towards May, maybe towards June. I think May would be a good time to pay attention to that. As far as it goes for TLT, we don't necessarily see anything except for, hey, the daily is crossed up. You got confirmation on the RSI, confirmation on the price action, right? So something crazy can happen. And I think that's the worrisome thing is TLT just starts to rip. People really go to maybe even flight to, say, safety. I mean, we have seen GLD. It's doing something crazy still, going to the upside. But like I said, I think it's just a matter of time before GLD gold. I think it's a matter of time before that just in a month, I think this will be down to, I would say, at least something below 272. I really like the 270 level. I really obviously will pay attention to 260, and then 250 down in these areas are very important. So you see how some of these things are pointing to people are really running to potentially safety. And now you're seeing that, I think, from TLT. Because technically, tariff talk, if everyone thinks tariffs are inflationary, then it makes no sense for the yields to come down, right? So the fact that the yields are coming down might mean that people are actually running to some kind of safety. We'll have to see. Only thing green I see is Coca-Cola. Hell yeah, Steve-O. Caffeine's a great thing. Caffeine is the most used drug on the planet. No reversal in sight. I see reversal in sight right now. Now, on the shorter time frames, we don't see reversal in sight. That's for sure, dude. It is very likely that we get the double trap. I think it's very likely that we could do this and then do this, and then we see something down in these areas by like Wednesday or Thursday. We'll have to find out, though. Let the market do. I don't really care what the market does too much in between here. I just care how it looks at the end of the week. The reason I care how it looks at the end of the week is because you see how ending in the downward direction right now, starting to go negative, divergence at the highs, okay? Bam. So if this is going to end in the downward direction, that would not be a good thing. I think you need to see positivity this week, to be totally honest with you. I think you don't want to close below this, and I think you need to see this weekly bar end up getting some kind of V-shape this week. I think this is decision time. I think other people agree too. A lot of the YouTubers that I trust, they're talking seriously about a crash potential is there, but they're also talking about the fact, and maybe this is why a lot of people said, hey, yeah, we're seeing everyone feed into the crash narrative on YouTube, the Black Monday narrative on YouTube. Okay, awesome. What are the people you trust saying? Because every guy that I looked at, I have like 3 accounts now that I look at and say, I do not trust these guys. I've looked at like 6 of their videos now to make sure, and I'm like, yeah, I don't trust these guys at all. What they're doing is they're seeing this, and then they're telling you, yeah, we called this. We called a crash. It's like, okay. And now they're saying Black Monday, and if this just happens, what are they going to do? That 2 hour is not by any means down here yet. I think it can get there. I think we can start to do some crazy stuff still, crazier than this even. But the people I trust are still paying attention to reversal signals. Me, I've been paying attention to reversal signals for the last like week and a half, 2 weeks, right? The first one failed. This one failed. Okay, we go down, we make another one. Great trade. Actually, great trade, hedge, great trade, hedge, great trade. I just wish I hedged in these areas because I literally, you can go look at the live show and said, while this was coming down, I go, I should have been hedging here, not just taking profit a little bit there. Instead, I just took all my profit and let it go. Why have people with a lot of money just be buying TTWO when GTA 6 comes out? Isn't the stock going to easily hit 300 quickly? Well, what does the chart say? Have people priced that in? Are people thinking the same as you and buying the stock? I see a very, very top-like signal. This looks like a double top. I mean, look at the significance here. I'm gonna call that divergence for sure. Yeah, I'm calling that divergence for sure. Because this is a green bar, this is a red bar, that's a green bar, so it's technically up a little bit. Okay, that's confirming right now. Now you can always get those bounces. This can be a trick, right? So pay attention if it's a trick. But I mean, you see triple divergence on your RSI. You see a daily divergence here for this. This means this might already be priced in, right? People might be pricing in all that stuff. Yeah, and then boom. That's a very bad signal. See if it goes wrong though, right? Stocks can do crazy things. That 2 hour is still positive. That can whip back around. You have a weekly expected move and those kinds of things. But this daily signal is not good. Short Fridays. Hacking price in $3 billion of GTA sales. GTA 5 brought the stock from 30 to 200 per sale. GTA 5 did. Hey, I'm just telling you what the chart's saying. It can do crazy things. And if you have an assessment and you have that kind of theory, that's perfectly fine if you want to, take a chance with that. I'm just telling you what the signals say, and that's a big-ass daily divergence. You have triple divergence on the RSI. So you have very weak momentum. It doesn't mean it can't continue to go up, though. It doesn't mean it can't continue. It means that this is a very worrisome time to be possibly investing in this, right? That's all you would say, right? If you're an investor and the news is this vomits down and then it ends up turning right back up and then it goes to a new all-time high, are you really going to care? Right? But if you're trying to catch quick swing trades and quick trades and quick option plays, man, I would just be very cautious with upside when you're getting a daily divergence to confirm. And that has 6 hours left. We'll see what happens. But thank you so much for the $5 short Fridays. I don't disagree with you. I don't want you to think I disagree with you. I'm just saying I do not, this goes back to kind of my rules too. If this daily prints, I don't take calls on a stock that curls down on a daily chart. I especially don't take calls on a stock that curls down on a daily chart with triple divergence on the RSI and a divergence on the MACD. That's just my rules. That's all I'm talking about. I have no idea which way this will go. I have no idea if people will buy this and it ends up going to 1,000 or 300 or 600 because of the sales. I'm just saying what the chart looks like, and right now the technical analysis here says daily divergence, triple divergence on the RSI. That can fail. And guess what? If it fails, that'd be interesting. What do people think? I mean, are people shorting it real heavy here? Because it could squeeze up if everyone's shorting it, and then it gets good news and just turns up. Everyone's wrong. Yeah, you have a 0.38 put to call ratio. So for TTWO, 1, you don't have a lot of liquidity for the options market. And then 2, you have everyone that is in the options market, at least most people in the options market, about 62% of people in the options market are overall saying that there's going to be a big move to the upside to 225. Maybe they're right. But I don't contradict my signals in my trades. I just don't. I refuse. If my signals say this could get ugly, then it can get ugly. Especially if I would say that's what's being shown in front of you right now is what I would overall put it as. That's like I don't know. My brain's having a hard time just being like, how could I talk about this in a positive way when I'm seeing this? That's what I'm having a hard time with. If the market starts to squeeze, if everything starts to squeeze together, it could blow off top. Anything can happen with this type of stuff, but that is a dramatic divergence. That is a dramatic divergence, and it connects with a triple divergence across. You didn't make triple divergence on the MACD. So that's the best I can do for you, is tell you the truth and tell you how it looks. Yes, you did scare me, but you did scare me. But don't scare me the next 3 weeks. Oh, man. Ahmad, do you think that QBTS is a good price to buy now? That's the question that matters, right? The question doesn't matter if, like, genuinely, when you're actually, because I assume this, by the way, Ahmad. If you think it's a good price, that's great. Okay, awesome. Then I will go look at it. You think this is a good price, then I will talk about it with you. I think you're correct in assuming that this might be a good price. I think that the 2 hours still close to that center line. You get a curl up here. I don't know what you're doing though. Are you trying to invest? Are you trying to do this? This is why in that video we were discussing how you can't really take into consideration the things that I do or how I would do it. I would need to know a lot more, but I would say that you do have some forms of maybe 30-minute divergence here, right? And this can be a good time for that to get some kind of, I would say, at least retrace from this overall move. We didn't necessarily have divergence, and we're still holding the actual floor, so this can continue. But this is slightly negative, so you want to be aware of a lower high. But if this can really build back up, maybe you get that little cup and handle type of look, right? The only thing I'd look out for is if it gets excited past these highs and it's some kind of trap, because we've seen these levels be pretty important. So if you get a rapid 2-hour move and then that just curls back down, I'd be aware of it. The daily scale is curled down for a few days. So that means, hey, I'm open to reversal signals now. I don't think you're bad to be paying attention to this. I just think you have extended forms of divergence, if you will, like the weekly chart. So you have to treat it with caution. You have to understand there could be one more trap left. But if you think, I don't know your goals, right? I don't know anything about how you would like to trade this, but I would tell you for the time being, if you think this is a good price, you have a signal that confirmed right before this. So I'd have to agree. The signals are suggesting that you can make an attempt to take back the 5, and if you can keep everything good, you can start to see upside. Hey, let's hope it's a banger for you, right? If you're already in it or something like that, I hope it's a banger for you. Hey, look at that. The SPY's wicking up. That's kind of crazy. Yeah, Mod. I appreciate you, buddy. Thank you for asking. If you don't own NVIDIA now, is it time to buy? I would say, that I like that $100 mark. But let's see if I can give you a little hint. I'll try to give you a little hint here. In this area, we did make reversal signals. We made kind of a lot of them, right? We had a lot of random multiple point divergence on the 30-minute. So one thing I can do is understand that this is violating, as of right now, the divergence. It's kind of flat. So this might have to make something else down here. We could still see some kind of uproar on Tuesday, Wednesday, and then we start to turn down. And then on Friday, we see this thing curl back up. It can happen in multiple ways. But I think this would be a price that I'd be paying attention to. That's how I'll phrase it, right? I don't know what's going on with your trade or anything about how you would want to trade this if you're talking about investing, right? Things like that. But overall, it's a daily divergence, right? Let's not overcomplicate things. This is a daily divergence for NVIDIA. What does that mean? You can see a solid move to the upside is what that overall means. I mean, let's look at NVIDIA. Remember the last time it had a daily divergence was here, right? So you can see, I don't think you're going to see this. I really don't think you're going to see that over time, over a year. I really don't think you're going to see it. I think you're more likely to see this thing like rip, right, for a few months, and then we'll see if there's topping out signals. And don't think because I drew it up to like 180 that I think it's going to get there, right? It depends on the behavior of the stock, but this is a daily divergence, so you can see a very good move for a decent amount of time. It pretty much means this. You can see a weekly curl up into positive territory, and look at that. And what if we violate the divergence that was created up here, right? So there's kind of two things. Do we go make another point of divergence and just fall? Or are we able to hold up better over time and we actually see this produce something over time, right? And it takes a bit more time. That's what I'd be overall paying attention to for the time being. Because this could go on a while, right? So it could go on a while. It could go on a short period of time. I think you have a chance that a short period of time, if this is just going to rip, right? If people really get behind this thing, yeah, I think NVIDIA would be the one that potentially sees some good upside. I think they're wanting retail to pretty much be like, yeah, buy at the highs. God, I'm getting 180 calls right now. It has so much to break above. You are completely right. That's why you have to be aware that these things can fail. Hello, can you look at GME, please? Yeah, we can go look at GME for a moment. GME, I think you're overall seeing downside. Once again, daily divergence is there. GME just does this, right? All it has to do is go like this, and it's a great signal. AMC is in a similar boat, like hasn't even crossed yet. So AMC, once again, I was right on DAX. AMC is in a similar boat, but AMC actually has great reversal signals, triple divergence if you would just see this thing reject and go. So the reason that I'm overall talking about like, hey, a lot of things can squeeze is because even if GME and AMC squeeze, I think they're going to squeeze with the market, right? At least to a point. Because the big squeeze that did happen, the market and GME both went up together for a bit, and then the market went down and GME just kept going. So, but just don't be freaking out today. Don't. You're aware of something that probably a lot of people aren't. People are really still buying those puts, right? Coming out today with those puts up towards 1.14. You're seeing all these tags up here. The problem was we were down here for a long time. Now we're actually up here. CPC, the same boat, down here for a long time. Now we're actually back up here. So we don't have to freak out. This isn't anything, right? We're just saying, okay, I think if a 2-hour curls up, we're still holding the points of divergence. I think the 2-hour, if I want to take on some more risk, then I can look for that 2-hour, see if that extends, see if that actually crosses, and then I assume the 4-hour will follow. I made 1,400 shorting NASDAQ. We like to celebrate the wins. That's very, very nice. Good job. We looked at SoFi or Tesla today. We have looked at like Tesla for a brief moment. Once again, Tesla's still holding up well. If that 2-hour curls up, you're in positive territory, and you just saw a rip. See if you get another one. Amazon's interesting because you know where this wick is? Well, let's just say Amazon has a pretty good chance to bounce off of this wick, right? We could create reversal signals down here too. So I'm watching Amazon pretty closely. And then you wanted to look at SoFi as well. Interesting look here. Overall, just like, hey, is the daily curling? Daily hasn't even curled over yet. We're testing into the lows. This could be a form of double bottom in some way. Now, this could still have more time. That's why it's good to have weekly expected moves. Like I can go look at my weekly expected moves and really see like, hey, is this a good price? Would this be a great price? And it would. SoFi saying it's pretty damn good. For the week, got to make sure things are going right. These things can fail. A 2-hour can easily cross up, right? Get up to these type of levels. Maybe even go fill that gap and go, oh yeah, we're back. Fail. It's negative. So pay attention if that rotates back down. But VIX is now not up by, what, 15%? Dow Jones hasn't even got to the low. IWM was the one. Hey, these are not the weekly. I'll give you guys the weekly expected moves for IWM, though, if you guys want them. 207.80. You guys are being nice. You guys are paying attention. Good people asking good questions, asking about stocks. I think that's great. Asking about, hey, I think this is a good price. What do you think? And there's not a problem with that, guys, right? What are we seeing at these levels? Getting a second opinion is not bad. 193.10, right? So do we have lower to go? Potentially. But what if the whole goal was to just sweep the low, take out the stops on Monday, and then turn around this thing on Tuesday and end that tariff talk towards April 2nd? You know, April 1st, reduction of QT. There's a lot going on this week that I think a lot of people aren't paying attention to. I didn't see it mentioned like once in the people I don't trust. They're not mentioning anything about April 2nd. They're not mentioning anything about April 1st. You know? And people are going, Trump's really going to ruin everything on April 1st or April, whatever. And I just go, well, you know, all these people are saying that on April 1st, literally April. How memey would this be if everyone's calling a crash on April 1st and the market April fools everyone and just starts to rip? I think that would be the best meme in the world. Who would like that meme? Come on. Same thing. NQ is very similar. All right, futures, still looking at this. Daily divergence. Look for if it produces. About it. 4 hours a little deeper, so you don't necessarily want to look at that. I'd just be looking at a daily chart, and then if you get a hint, hey, 2-hour, does that make some form of divergence, right? 2-hour chart. That would be your hint. If you're just going to see this, though, watch that daily chart. That if you cross up a daily chart this week, a lot of probabilities point to we're going to an upside monthly expected move in April. I would love to see upside today. I would love to just see a ripping today because that allows these monthly expected moves. Because right now, as it stands, you're at lower levels. So either way, this is going to potentially do something like this, right? So what we want to see is we want that price to get up there so that these actually shift up just a little bit more, right? That's about it. I'll read into them after today's price action. We will be putting those out tonight on Patreon. Patreon members, make sure you are aware. If you're not a part of Patreon, you want to try to use monthly expected moves, as that's kind of what we're paying attention to now. That's what we were paying attention to here, right? We went pretty much up to it. Okay, awesome. Now, if you want that information, Patreon's down there. I'll be putting those out tonight. An April Fool's rip, Corey. That's what I'm talking about. The market is far beyond repair. Really? Really? Was this far beyond repair? 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 We're higher than those levels rapidly. So I'm just saying, the market can do crazy things. I'm just the guy that's going to remind you of that. I think that you are aware of some serious things that could crash the market. I think that's what you're overall getting at. This is different. It could be. It could be. Drop too much for me. Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, that's fine. That's fine to say. I don't think that's bad to say. It's perfect. Like I said, this is a lot of what you're comfortable with, right? This is why I'm suggesting people read that book, The Psychology of Money, because everything I say in this channel is pretty much said in that book, just way better with things to back it up. And I think that's awesome. I highly suggest. It's literally $11. It's literally 250 pages or something like that. You can read it. I read it in like, what? I think I read it in like 10 days. And then I bought myself a thriller book, and I read that book in like 2 days. I'm not comfortable losing 50% in 3 months. Hey, it's going to be 2 weeks, SH33. Did you see Saturday's video? The market's going to drop 40 to 50% in 2 weeks, I said. God. Oh, please. Someone who didn't watch my video, don't think that that's my actual analysis, please. Is there a bearish head and shoulders on Palantir? Let's go look. On the daily? Daily N2? Oh, wait, Gabanamer, what did you say? I say thank you for the 50% rebate on Wolf. Gabanamer's gobbling up some Wolf after they change out, what, a CEO or something? Palantir, though. Head and shoulders. Okay, you're talking like maybe slanted head and shoulders. Is that what the assessment is here? Like this? I don't think that's a bad thing to pay attention to. I don't think it's bad, but you're going to need the daily to actually cross for that to happen. That's not happening yet, unfortunately. You're still bottled up and you're looking for that direction. And overall, this is still holding up pretty damn well. That could still be a higher low. So what you'd look for here for that head and shoulders is probably the 2 hour to fail again, right? Some kind of move like this, and it just gives it up. I think that would be the more likely thing to watch for. Yeah, that's overall how I see it. I mean, if the daily crosses down, that is a definite possibility that you could be heading down to that 200. You could be heading down to the breakout area towards $40, right? That gap up. You can go down to $40 for Palantir if that happened, right? But the daily has to confirm down first, right? We're talking about things that can happen. What is happening right now? If this 2 hour curls up, is it close enough to the center line where that could take out this high and go make a new one? If we make a divergence here, would you say, okay, now that has a high potential to happen, right, in these areas when you see a signal? Or are we going to burst through and just see this thing rip and then do something like this, pull down a bit, and then curl back up? Well, then you're violating the divergence, and I would say that this would be invalid at that point, and you need to change the analysis. You need to change what's going on because Palantir did something crazy. This is a week where you can see crazy things. So I want you to be prepared to switch up all of the bearish looks. I want you to be prepared if you see a rip, you need to be prepared to switch up your thinking. And that's what Saturday's video is about. And I appreciate everyone who watched it. I appreciate everyone who liked it because we were able to send it to a lot of people and show them how their emotions might be getting involved in their trading too much. Emotions are involved in trading. Like, you can't deny it. Controlling your emotions is much better, right? I can be an emotional person. That's perfectly fine. As long as I know that I'm an emotional person. I know how to handle how I'm feeling. Do I get daily, weekly, and monthly expected moves every day when I join Patreon? You will get weekly expected moves every single Sunday. You'll get monthly expected moves for every stock that we cover on the right side of your screen every single month. So tonight you will get that. And then Bert, we don't put the daily expected moves for like the SPY and the Qs on there because we give it away on YouTube for free to everyone. Same with weekly, same with monthly. So you'll get this, but for tons of other charts, daily expected moves for individual stocks. I can't necessarily make a solid daily expected move because individual stocks don't have expiration every day. And the reason I also don't post daily expected moves to Patreon is because I'm trying to encourage people to figure out what they're good at. And it's proven to be that more people would be good at investing, more people would most likely be better at position trading, swing trading than something like day trading. And someone came in, a few people came into the Patreon early on, and they just ruined it for me. They really tarnished it. They wanted everything. They wanted me to tell them exactly what to do with their money. That's not what this channel is about. They wanted me to give them every little piece of data that I could. Hi. If you find a person who's going to give you all of the best data every single day, they're not going to charge you $7, right? They're going to charge you hundreds of dollars per month. So, Bert, I think it would be really good for you. It is still very good for all kinds of traders to understand where a weekly expected move is. The best day trades happen towards weekly expected moves, okay? So if you just, I'll show you my other charts. You guys want to see my other charts? Here, I'll show you why. I'll even show you Amazon's weekly expected move. So because of Bert, guys, you guys will get a little hint of a weekly expected move over on Amazon that I'm paying attention to. Look where that wick came in. Look where we got to today. So now Amazon has touched its edge of the 68% zone early on in the week. Many times you just touch these areas and then you'll use them as potential support. This is a great sign for something like Amazon. But notice a day trader could say, okay, the risk to reward is, hey, we're down at the weekly. Hey, filling that gap looks pretty good. Let me take a 1-2 day trade to see if we fill that gap and use my risk management and my position size, right? Day traders can utilize weekly expected moves very well. And I think patient day traders, people who don't try to make money every single day, are people who really benefit from actually day trading. Unless you're extremely skilled and you've done it for a long time and you have crazy good risk management, I don't think day traders make money every day. You're going to see it on the internet and see all these people showing you that they make money every day and they never lose. That's not the truth. I'm just going to be blunt with you. It's not the truth. If they were and you just think of it very logically. I am someone who is growing over time very slowly. I noticed that retail was overall getting beat up a lot. I noticed that in about 2023. So I made a channel to show, and I told my wife, and my wife encouraged me, hey, just try to help people. And I talked about my brother, who also said, like, you don't really do anything good for the world. And it hit me different. And I said, I want to do something good for the world. And so I did that. And I'm on a slow growing path because I believe that the slow way is the fast way. That means if I want to be a millionaire, it might take me 10 more years. That's fine with me. Perfectly fine. I'm super comfortable. I don't need a Lambo. I don't give a shit about a Lambo. I hate Lamborghinis, by the way. I hate those cars. I hate Chargers. I hate cars in general. I want to buy a Toyota 4Runner. That's as expensive as I will get. That is probably the most expensive thing. I don't want a mansion. Even if I had $1 million, I wouldn't buy a mansion. I'm a different kind of thinker to a lot of other people. I just know that I'm different. Right? So if I can understand that, but I also want to try to be helpful to the people around me. And so I want to put you in a percentage that's a little bit better than a day trader who tells you they make money every single day when they don't. Because if they did, they'd be rich as fuck. And that's just blatant. I'm just being honest there. I would rather be wealthy. I want to be a millionaire. And that's it. I could make $1 million and be done. And just invest the rest of my life and just be like, all right, I'm done. Soak in the dividends. I'm going to go travel, do whatever. But you need to have a serious conversation with yourself right now if you're really focusing on money in the market and just making money really fast. The fast way is usually the slow way for most people. Okay, most people are the slow way is the best way. And I took that to heart because I tried to day trade and I was not the best at it. Now I'm much better at managing my position size. I'm much better at managing my risk. Of course, now I'm talking about that while I'm taking on a bunch of risk, but if it wasn't hard, everyone would be able to do it, right, Mark? Mark for Mike. And the other thing is, if a YouTuber is telling you they're winning every single day day trading and you're seeing tens of thousands of dollars in every video and this and this and this, bro, why are they pumping out 10 YouTube videos a week? Like, it just doesn't make sense. Unless it's a tractor. Yeah, a Lambo tractor. It's kind of sick. I do want a farm. I want to buy my wife a horse. I gotta say it quietly. I want to buy my wife a horse. Hey, someone did ask about Walmart. Is any Walmart people still here? Just say I in the chat or me. To get others on their trade to support their move. Yeah, possibly. If you're a big enough name and you're a day trader and you have enough people that just follow your trades, it's a risky spot to put yourself. I'm telling you. If if they're live trading and they take something and other people take it, you can put yourself in a bad area. Everlasting knowledge. Let's go look at Walmart then. Oh, not that. Walmart. Very good from Walmart. I think this looks not too bad on the 2 hour. It's really close to the center line. Look at the daily. See how the daily's down? So where would we pay attention to? Really watching this. This level is very obvious. I'll even put a line there. It's super obvious. The top of this bar, right? General area. We don't treat them like, oh, hard numbers. It has to hit 89, 82. No, but this is a key area here. Above that, you'd probably be looking, here and here. But for the most part, this is the first big hurdle I think you have. Obviously, you got to break through this to get there. But from here, you could see that daily trail up for a little bit and then confirm back down. You could see on the shorter time frames that the 2 hours able to climb there and then see a pullback. But if you can get it back above that, I think that's a good sign. 89, 82, probably just say $90, but watch for the gap fill rejection. Obviously, you can reject and still turn down from here, but I really like to take that back. Well, I'll tell you something. Do you think most people who own really expensive cars actually paid cash? Do you think most people who actually bought the car, now those people have cash flow most likely. Most likely those people have to have good credit, or if they have bad credit, they at least have to have a bunch of cash. So they must have good inflow. They might be bad with their money. Buying a Lambo is like the first indication that you're probably not the best with money, right? The percentage of people with very expensive cars that have good money management or have a good amount of money that they're doing good things investing wise is probably low. JP Morgan looking good here. JP Morgan is one reason that I really think we're going to rip. And this is the trade that makes me go, I'm going to assume more risk this week. Because this is the trade that I had. This is the trade that I was going to potentially scale into. I let it shake me out. I didn't look at it with the reversal signal, even though we mentioned it multiple times. And I just didn't pay attention to it. And that's a mistake on my part. Because look what happened. What did I say? From here, I said, hey, I think JP Morgan's going to get to 250. But notice that bad things happen first. And then by the time my option would have had still a week left, I believe, week or two, we were above 250. I would have made money and not lost money in the trade. So I need to stick to my guns a lot of the time or manage trades and make sure I'm paying attention for the next reversal. Because this on the 30-minute was just like, yeah, buy me. I'm outside of that move. We go back into 250, and then I'm kicking myself over here. I wasn't wrong. I was wrong right before. I was wrong right before. If we reject here, does that mean we are going lower? 540. That purple line, okay, Mohammed? I have an expensive car financed through business, never pay cash because you can't have the extra money to invest. Well, exactly, yes. But that's what I'm saying. Short Fridays, tell me what percentage of people buying a car worth over $60,000 think that way. Short Fridays, I think you guys in here are smart. I think a lot of people in here are probably smarter than me, right? I really do. And I think Short Fridays is saying exactly what smart people would do. They want to get the low rate Especially now, like even cars now, they're desperate to sell cars. You can go to a dealership and some of them will, if you have the right stuff, they'll give you a 1% raise, some of them. Isn't that crazy? I saw that. Why? Because they're not selling. They have shelf lives of over a year right now. But short Fridays, that's exactly right. But how many people buying a car over $60,000 do you think are doing that? I actually want you to answer because if you have that and you're in that situation, I want to know. Hopefully, most, because if you finance 5% and get tax deduction through business or for car weighing over 6,000 pounds, you can make double percentage investing in cash. Okay, I'm going to show you something real quick. This is most people. Let's see. See if I can find it real quick. There's a guy I've been watching. He's not like the best by any means, but let me see if I can find a little clip for you guys. Actually, let's just do this. Let's make it quicker. I don't really want to find the video, but I did watch it earlier. Okay. Let's see. While we're watching the spy fool around by this daily expected move. Car repossessions are increasing as of March 31st, 2025. Recent data and trends indicate a significant uptick in vehicle repossessions across the United States. According to reports from mid 2024, Cox Automotive noted a 23% surge in car repossessions in the first half of 2024 compared to the same period of 2023, with less exceeding pre-pandemic figures by 14%. You have seen an increase of 23% in 2024 going into 2025 of just car repossessions across the board. Let's check some other stuff. Maybe this will give me an actual link here. Overall, car loan defaults have significantly been rising, right? And the reason that we're paying attention to say, we'll just say luxury vehicles is because most people want to seem like they have money. So they put themselves into it. Think of how people buy a house. When a bank says, when you're like looking at a $200,000 house and the bank says, we'll give you up to $400,000, what do most people do? They start to go look at $400,000 houses, right? It's the same thing with cars. Weirdly enough, it's kind of the same thing with furniture. You're dropping gems. Yeah, maybe. We're still at a daily expected move at the early parts of the day. Are there houses less than 400K right now? Probably in the Midwest, yeah. Are those for sale? That's the question. Are there houses for sale? Because the people who will be in trouble are the people who bought a $200,000 house. It went to 400,000, and then now they're going to sit in it because they have a good rate, and then eventually, even at that good rate, they can be damaged. So if they lose their job or something, here in the Netherlands, it's yeah. I know that there's plenty of homes at that below that value. Very nice homes below that value where I'm at. But still, does that mean it's a good thing to do it, right? A price doesn't dictate a good investment. There's multiple things that dictate a good investment. It's at the daily expected low. It had a low chance of going lower than this, and it is. It's more likely this is profit taking from bears. Very true. Very true. Now, it is very likely to make structure down here, right? Or see that go like this and then vomit towards the end of the day. I'd be more so watching the end of the day. Retail already got freaked out. Retail overall, we're seeing a lot of, the PCC increase. So retail's getting freaked out. you might continue to get them to freak out all week long to get that big liquidity built up and then see a reaction. We could see the opposite, but I think we're more likely to see something like that, and data shows that. Doesn't mean a crash can't happen, though, guys. All right? Make sure we're paying attention if your trade goes wrong. That's why you don't want to follow me in this period of time. I wouldn't be following me here at all. That's why I'm going to try not even to say if I'm buying, selling, doing whatever, right? I want you guys to really know, like, make your own decision, because I'm trading totally different than I usually do. Because I want to be in a squeeze and I don't want to get faked out. And so I'm willing to lose all of this money if I have to. If it crashes, I might lose all of it. But that's where the position size management comes in. Tons of houses in Northeast Ohio are well under 300K. Exactly, and what's the square footage and that kind of thing, right? You got to look at those type of things. You're seeing things tilt still even further now in Florida and Texas. Is Nike a value play? I think Nike is in a great level to see good things. I really do. And Nike actually gives you a 30-minute signal here. So I'm saying on the, I think it was the weekly scale, correct? Yeah, weekly scale, you're still holding the divergence points. The important part is you hold the divergence points. I think Nike could see good things. And guess what? Nike has a dividend, right? If you like Nike shoes, hey, that's great. This would be something that I would even look at investing in, because they at least have a decent little dividend coming out there. Okay, cool. That's awesome. And maybe I wear Nike shoes, right? What do we talk about sometimes? People are like, how do I pick a stock? What do you use every day? What's in your computer that you're using right now? Okay, I have Intel and NVIDIA in my computer. Okay, awesome. Maybe I could look at those companies. I'm using them, so they must be valuable to me, right? Do I go to Target every day? Do I go to Walmart every day? Do I spend my money on Nike shoes, right? That could be a reason to look at the chart. And then if you have some skill here, you can go, hey, if that weekly curls up, that's good. Usually you need to see a daily signal for that to happen, but you might not, right? We didn't over here before it started to see a big move. We didn't over here when we saw the big dip. We did over here, though. So let's see. But overall, I think Nike's more the investment standpoint. I don't think this is a bad price, right? You can't tell me this is a bad price. It's down at the 2020 lows. You know, people say, oh, this is a great price for Nike at 170. Okay, then what's it at 6? What's it sub 70? What's it 100 over 100 points less? What is it? Is it bad now all of a sudden? Why? It's the perspective and it's the emotion. And I think that, yeah, Nike can still go through some trouble, but I'm seeing weekly signals that don't look terrible. The last weekly signal we got was right here. And look at this rip. Where was confirmation? Like here? 35%. And it's less than 120 days, by the way. It's like 2 months. So 3 months. I just drew it up wrong, but yeah, I don't mind Nike. I haven't seen confirmation for Nike, but I would say investors would be paying attention to these levels, right? That's why we had a box down here for Nike too. Very nice. It could be its moment, right? And those are the ones that look like potential really, like, what if we just don't, what if we see a big bull market? What if everyone's wrong? That can happen. What if I'm me saying that there's high risk in 2025? What if we wiggle through all that risk and we end up seeing like a 2-year bull run with some blips in there, some corrections? Well, Nike's down from 170 to $63. Yeah, I think Amazon's a big reason that Nike's going to struggle, because as more and more companies, actually, it's already happened. It's already happened, but Nike has a better footing though in the shoe market. Nike has a way less likelihood to come down, but if people start to go through troublesome times, look for them to buy cheaper items. And Nike is always known for being extremely expensive, and their margin is huge because they use fucking sweatshops or something, right? Thanks, Remy. That's what I think too. I think you got to get the short selling out. You got to have rulings to short selling in some way. You especially naked short selling, you just can't have it, because then if a bunch of rich people just don't like a stock, they can short sell it into oblivion, and if they can borrow money for free from Japan, it just doesn't matter. It really just doesn't matter. That stock will just go down, right? If they really hate something, they can literally use their amounts of money, and even cheaper, sometimes naked shorting, so they don't even risk anything. It's like, Jesus. It's a huge problem. Walgreens, weird look. Weird. Daily curl down. Yeah. Daily still positive. Earnings. I can't say much about earnings. 50-50 flip for Walgreens soon. Looks like we do have earnings, a few of these, but looks like March 31st. Yeah, today. We'll see when that comes out. It doesn't really tell me, does it? Have these come out yet? I think dark pools are fucking stupid too, by the way. I think dark pool is the dumbest thing. What does it incentivize? It incentivizes bad behavior. It enables it. And that's why I don't like it. But Walgreens, I'm sorry about that. It does have earnings, so that's just going to be a 50-50 flip going into the earnings. Short sellers create liquidity. Short sellers create liquidity for market makers, and that's why they like it. So it really only benefits short sellers themselves and market makers and whatever company is, getting the opposite side of the short selling, like Nvidia's. People still short sell Nvidia, but it's mostly for like liquidity stuff. But how does it acquire the liquidity? It forces a stock down, getting people to buy it or sell it for whatever emotional reason to build liquidity to rip them away. That's what it is. Like, let's just call a spade a spade. It is to manipulate the stock in some way. Yes, that is a manipulation tactic. It is a legal, technically legal, I'm putting quotes, you can't see my fingies, but Wolfie! Come on, Wolfie. Do your thing. Do your thing. Well, oh shit. No. Come on, Wolfie boy. Why'd you do that? Why'd you already retested this? Why are you going down here? Stop it. Come on, Wolfie boy. Mags. Oh yeah, I was gonna make a weekly expected move for that. I don't know if that's the most important, but it would be good. Sorry, I'm clicking around a lot. Waiting for that VWAP to get down there. Woo! Or get above the VWAP. I don't even have VWAP for the SPY right now. Hey, CZAP, or SZAP, sorry about that. Thank you for joining. Appreciate you. For Fridays, I gotta see this car. And I'll be like, oh yeah, that's a car. Because I'm not a car guy, but my dad's, I don't even know if he really is. He's just an Audi guy. 275 today. Yeah, that's gonna be rough. Like I said, doesn't have to land out that move. And watch. Here's what's gonna happen. Because it happens all the time, right? Especially early on in trading. You're gonna not take enough time, and then it's gonna do something that is seen as crazy, and people will then buy into the stock still, like GLD, they'll buy into gold, and then it's gonna top out, and then we're gonna turn down, and then it's gonna be bad. Right? That's the most probable thing to happen with that. And that used to happen to me early on. A lot of JP Morgan moments happened early on. So that's why that JP Morgan moment frustrated me, because that's the whole reason I took longer out options from way back when I, first started to dabble in them, right? Now squeezing, we have no confirmation of upside even on a 30-minute yet. So the momentum has not even been strong enough here to curl up a 30-minute chart. What's the signal I actually care about? A 4-hour chart here. So really, if this isn't confirmed up, that means squeeze isn't really on the table. Anything in between there is cool. You can look for those hints and stuff like that, right? But if this isn't going like this, and we're not seeing this, and we're not seeing this, then I just, there's nothing really confirming towards squeeze yet. This could just be a little bounce. Maybe a small squeeze. Yeah, there you go. That's probably the better way to put it. Yeah, squeeze them up to gap fill. Squeeze them up to gap fill. Squeeze them up to 562. See that maybe turn back down. Then create the reversal signal in these areas, right? Do something like this, and we got a signal to go behind. I'd be paying attention to every little signal you get down here because any of those little signals might cause the big pop. VIX is going down, but it's still in a very positive trend. Just so you are aware and you look at this on the 30-minute chart, it does not have a 30-minute divergence. It does not have a 2-hour divergence. What you're looking for here is the opposite of the SPY. You're looking for the 4-hour to curl down, right? If the 4-hour confirms down and then goes negative, then it's very likely to take out this low and go make a new one. And that is why the 4-hour is the chart we want to be paying attention to for the most part. I don't pay attention to a lot of 4-hour charts. I don't really like 4-hour charts that much, but that's the game that we're playing right now. At least in my mind, that's what I see. If I get no reversal signal and a 4-hour curls up, you bet your ass I'm going to be going, okay, squeeze potential is very there. I think an island reversal, it wouldn't be much of an island, but it can, you know. A lot of people on the daily scale were saying island reversal. I didn't say this, right? I didn't say this on the daily scale, but a lot of people were suggesting this could be island reversal right here. I think it was more for the Qs. I think it was the Qs, like this is an island. But I didn't really have that take this time. I just didn't think that that was... I thought that was more encouraging of like, yes, this squeeze is going to happen. And so I didn't want to put that information out there when I knew that this had the risk of the daily complexity. Oh, on the VIX. Yeah, VIX can island reverse. VIX likes to fill its gaps quick. All right, anywhere you really look back and you see a daily gap, it fixes itself very quickly. Look at this. Big, big gap, fixes. Okay. Big, big gap, fixes. Okay. All right. So pay attention to big gaps in volatility. Upside gaps for the most part. Yeah. Big gap up. 4 days later, up. 2 weeks later, you're already turning back down. So VIX is quick. That's why you got to be quick with it. UVXY, anyone holding volatility, just note these are levels where you got to make some decisions if you're in like UVXY or anything that's leveraged already. And if you're doing options in there, you just might want to be paying attention a little bit. I would say now for today, for the week, 540. Yeah, I know, we did. We did. Bam. Nice. Still above 1 on the put to call ratio. Quick shorts on gold. Yes, it's pulling up, but there's limited space left. Shorting those pops. Yeah, if you're the shorter term player, but I think a lot of maybe big players just took like, you know, maybe big 3-month, 2-month out options. Oh my goodness. I'm like an Amazon right now. I haven't seen a reversal signal yet though. Kind of want to see a short time frame reversal signal. I totally messed up my other play, so that's my bad. I completely made a mistake with my clicky clicks this morning. But maybe this is God. I'm going to treat it like positive. Maybe it's God. And he's saying, you don't want to be in that other play. You want to be in the Amazon play. Maybe that's what's happening here. Happy positive vibes, BK. Good morning. Good morning. Hey, thank you guys for joining us today. Please leave a like on the stream if you appreciate some of the information you're getting here today. Some of these lines on the chart that might be pretty helpful because we are now bouncing off of the daily expected move. That can keep going lower, right? What's more important? A weekly. What's more important? A monthly, right? So weirdly enough, the monthly expected move, you would have to rip by about 19 points right now to get back into that monthly expected move. But puts instead of calls. No, I actually accidentally, I just completely sold one of my plays that, yeah, I completely sold. I was setting it up to potentially look at the pricing of contracts and see how much I wanted to buy. And then when I was typing in the number and I clicked, my mouse was on the sell button. And it sold all my contracts. Oh, God. It happens, though, right? What was the percentage chance of that happening today? Yeah, it sucks, Remy. But I'm going to treat it like a godsend and say, hey, that one's not at a I think Amazon's at a better level. I didn't happen to sell that one. So I'm like, okay, I'll make a decision there. So I did take a little bit more of Amazon at the weekly expected move because I accidentally sold out of the other one. So hey, that's all right. Keep it concise for this week. That's fine. Exactly, Steve-O. You guys, when you were day trading, did you ever fat finger or like put a stop at the wrong place or something like that, and then it just like happened all of a sudden? You're like, fuck. And then right after that, it rips in the direction of that trade. You're just like, damn. What do I think about QQQ though? If it gets the pullback, QQQs have been pulling back for a month. Just so you're aware. Claudie, sorry if I butchered your name. I do apologize. But yeah, Qs have been pulling back for a while. I mean, just look at this daily chart. It's more than pulling back, right? This is a correction. Once you cross through that center line, once you get to those 10%, even 7%, yeah, you're starting to really go, this is not a pullback, right? In the grand scheme of things, on like a weekly chart, you could say pullback, right? No matter what chart you're looking at, it can be different. Weekly, yeah, this could still be considered pullback, but it's starting to get to corrective weekly looks, which a corrective weekly isn't really a thing too much, right? A correction on the weekly is like a crash on the daily. Okay, so that's the risk you have today, and that's why I think this week, and that's why I think this week is so pivotal for the market. It's literally why the title is decision time, right? It's decision time, I think. I sold this morning on the run down, but after that bounce, I wasn't upset at all. Exactly, Chris. That's why I was like, okay, whatever. It happened. It happened. Now, the Qs are not in a good spot, though. The Qs did something that we need to be paying attention to. They gapped below the daily expected move. So you could sit here all day and then flash down to 453.23. Tried to set my stop and sold. Exactly, Chris. See that? But I was very disappointed in myself. I think I made one of those mistakes, two of those mistakes in 2024 as well. And I just finally got my old mouse on my other thing, so I was like, oh yeah. And then I just, that weirdly enough, the left click is way more sensitive over there, and I just found that out. When you have two different kinds of mice, you're going, oops. Oh, I didn't feel bad. I'm just like annoyed, but I'll also try to spin it into a positive and be like, hey, maybe that trade wasn't going to work out, and this is a sign that my other trade's good. And then I looked over at this and I go, okay, that's exactly where I wanted to potentially dabble in some Amazon. So literally exactly where I wanted to look at Amazon. Because it's calculating what people expected for the day before the day happened. You can sit there and make hourly expected moves, but the implied volatility can shift so fast that it's just so kind of incorrect. You more so want to see how people are positioned going into the day, seeing what happens in the morning and how they change, right? So that's why we look at the PCC up here and stuff like that. We look for people to get really bearish down by these moves. And then that's where you have a good potential to see a contrarian indication there. Right, it's just a contrarian indication. So we do see that the daily move is down here. We see that the PCC has risen to 1.042 today. So we know that people are buying overall more puts than calls in this area. Yeah, Fecious. Because once you make a weekly expected move, that's what it is. It's a weekly expected move. If I would make a expected move on a Tuesday, okay, that's a 4-day expected move. If I'd make it on a Wednesday, okay, that's a 3-day expected move. If you want a weekly expected move, you have to give it what people thought was going to happen throughout the week. And the best part about that is it's because you're using the calculation from that expiration, right? So dailies where you could probably have a conversation more about that, but I would say weekly, when you're targeting that actual expiration of Friday, it's kind of rough. Yeah, so daily's the same logic, just much tighter. Much tighter, right? 5 times tighter, if you will, because it's 1 day compared to 5 days on average a week. Steve, why are you dodging bullets? Broken warned me a couple of minutes ago that has rejected my order since it was 300,000. What? Oh, oh my God, Steve-O. That would have been freaky. If okay, here's what I'd say. If I put in an order for $300,000 and I only meant to like maybe do 300, I would be very happy if I didn't actually have $300,000 in the account. Because then it'll just be like you don't have enough funds or something like that. I would be very happy. Got to the answer before I finished typing. Love it. Hey, that's great. Yeah, that's awesome. I don't. Well, that's a good. I would say in that scenario, you're probably a little thankful. I don't know if you want to risk, especially if you like maybe that's your like everything you have. That is the. You might as well become Roaring Kitty and post your trade and start tweeting some stuff because that's a YOLO if that's all the money you have and you put it behind one thing. It was worse than ordering 300K total. He was paying 300K per share. Oh, jeez, that's even worse. Imagine the order fills and you get 1 share for 300K. Oh, fucking A, that's funny. Yeah, good stuff. But just note, this market seems to be going to behave a lot more in the same type of fashion, where it seems you're going to get one big move and then see what happens. And you might get one big move at the end of the day. The Qs aren't giving me confidence right now. And I'd really like to see a divergence on SPY on the 30-minute at least. I at least want to see a 30-minute divergence here. I really do. I want to see this. And that's how we get down to that weekly expected move, right? Then maybe the market can go like this and we see the same time towards the end of the week or towards midweek. That'd be great. We're just at a daily, not a weekly. So we have to still pay attention to 540. Unfortunately, it's very early on. Trump crushed the market forever. Let's see. Let's see. See if we can find something to prove or disprove that. We'll see. All right, let me check my charts now. March. All right, let's look at this. So, what was it? It was when. Oh, where were the actual ones that were implemented for a while? Yeah, so according to charts, tariffs can be a big deal. Because the last time we saw a tariff come in and implemented, we did see a bear market of about 25 to 30%. So you are correct. But 5 years, that happened over a year and then it stopped. But I think that's because some of the tariffs were lifted. Tariffs will take time. And the thing is, you need production with it. So that's what we're critical about on this channel. Is we understand that tariffs without production is and manufacturing is just silly. So I think that you have a kind of like the Fed has a dual mandate. I think that President Trump kind of has a dual mandate if he's going to do tariffs. It's implement the tariffs, make sure those are at maybe a reciprocal level so they're pretty fair, right? But then also you need production and manufacturing to increase in the United States. But yes, it looks like the tariffs actually did, if that was the actual reason, but it was right after the dot-com bubble, so I think people were pretty shaky, but it looks like it was about a 29% bear market. Yeah, from the time the tariffs were actually implemented. So that can happen here. But because that happened in 2022, I believe, do we actually have to experience that again? Right? Do we have to? No. Could we? Yes. If you're looking back, you're going, hey, tariffs did that last time. So, but my question would be, how is it similar or different to this time? My question would be, what was production like in 2022? I'd have to do more research, but for the most part, you would say, yes, tariffs can cause a big bear market to happen, according to what I just read into. That's what I think, Dave. If you want to day trade, but you can have as little as you want. Wait, what is the minimum of cash you have to get to gamble in the market? $20, $5, $1. Yeah, you can start with 1,000, and then it's very good to, even if you're someone who, if you've never traded before, it's very good to be like, okay, I want to save up $20,000 to start. That's really where my start began, and then from there, you really have to understand and learn a lot during that time. A suggestion for a lot of new traders would be, don't trade $20,000 if that's all you have. Don't put $20,000 into the trading account, right? Only put, if you only want to do options, maybe you want to invest, hey, get two separate accounts and you do an investment account, do an options account, and never allow yourself. Just make that rule for yourself right now. If you fail at options with, say, $2,000 and you got 18 grand left and that's all in the investment part, do not take stuff out of the investment part and try to do options with the rest. That is a slippery slope, right? You want to make sure that you have all the kinks worked out in your option strategy and you're not overall taking on too much risk with that. Well off's enough, slot machine. Gamble? Technically, you could consider every option play, every investment is a gamble. But the market's a lot, gambling here is a lot different than gambling at a casino, I'll tell you that. Yeah, everything has a percentage, so you would say that's a gamble. But I would say everything is a gamble. It's a gamble to marry a woman who you met in your 20s. It's a gamble to marry a woman you met in your 50s. It's a gamble to marry your high school sweetheart. It's a gamble to buy a car. It's a gamble to get in a car and drive the car. It's a gamble to not drive the car and stay at home. Oh, I have a good topic for you guys. I want to get your brains going. I want to get your brains going. Big one, a big girl. Is that what you're talking about, Michael? It's a gamble to get out of bed. It's a gamble to stay in bed. It's a gamble to stay in bed, Richard. Opportunity cost, right? Let's micro versus AMD. I will look at AMD real quick, and then I wanted to do a little a fun thing that I was thinking of. And yes, my nose just squeaked. Did you guys hear that? I breathed in. It went. Bigger the girl, the bigger the gamble. Well, yeah, because you're going to have to pay for all the food. You know, do you have the money to marry a big chick? Whoa, staying in bed's only guaranteed. No, there's still opportunity cost. There is still a risk that if you would have got out of bed that day, you might have went and bought a lottery card and you might have actually won the lottery that day, Richard. Very, very small percentage, but still a gamble. What if you met the love of your life that day, but because you didn't get out of bed? Ooh. Yeah, so you would say maybe it's a gamble to buy a nice pillow. Because if you like your pillow too much and you lay in bed too much, you might miss out on some stuff. But maybe it's a gamble not to get out of it, right? Everything is a risk. Everything is a reward. Everything is a percentage. Literally everything. It's just we do this inadvertently. We don't pay attention to risk. Everyone drives a car, even though a ton of people die driving a car. Everyone drinks, say, alcohol, but a lot of people die because of alcohol, right? AMD, I don't mind this. It's actually holding up pretty well and filling the gap. I think we have a good shot at a turnaround Tuesday. How do you hedge not getting out of bed? Invest. If you're investing, or maybe delegation if you're a CEO, right? Right? The bigger thing is, and you'll see this in the book, is putting yourself in a place where you can do those type of things, right? Someone said, I think in the book, it talks about, in Psychology of Money, it talked about, you know, having just saving money because you never know what could happen. Hey, saving money could just be to take a day off every once in a while. Just be like, hey, if I take a week off of trading right now, will that damage me? You know what I mean? Hey, Dimitri, thanks for saying you love the content, all right? I appreciate you being here too, buddy. Thank you for saying that. I appreciate you being here. If you guys want to join later, I mean, click that Rumble link down there. I think it's in the description if someone could clarify for me. I didn't look at it this morning. But yeah, we'll be here for the closing stream as well. The last hour of the day. Power hour, guys, will be over on Rumble. Credit. You gain extra bonus buying Lambo with credit. Oh, God. Here, I'll give you a perspective conversation. We're going to do something here. This will be fun. This will be fun. I think you guys will have a good time. We like to do okay. Okay. Let's do this car. This one's not horrible looking, but still garbage. All right. Oh, did it not pay? Oh, man. Let me see if it'll do it. What? Oh, it's too large. Dang it. All right. What about this car? This car looks silly. Let's do this one. All right. You see this car? All right. This car. We're going to do a little fun experiment here. And we're going to do a vote in the chat. And then we'll come back to AMD in a little bit. All right. But AMD, I don't mind it. I still think the daily divergence is definitely possible. Let's do this guy. Looks pretty sick. Let's do that guy. Let's see if this image is too big. Nope. Okay, good. All right, guys. Here's what I want you to do. We're going to call this A. And this is B. And then we'll come back to AMD in a little bit. We're going to start a new poll. All right. In that poll, thank you guys for taking place in the first poll. Let's do a second one. All right, this poll is going to say this: which car is better? Very simple question. Which car is better? The Triangle or the Lambo? Which car is better? All right, we're going to leave that for about... We'll leave that for 5 minutes. We'll stay on the stream, and then we'll talk about this fun topic, and then we'll get back to it, all right? Which car is better? All right? Does everyone see that? Bunch of people see it? See it? See the yellow car compared to the Lambo? The Triangle compared to the Lambo. Clearly the triangle. Try not to troll. Try to vote very seriously, okay? If you voted like a troll, all right, vote a little bit seriously. We want to talk about something here. All right. SPY, as we see it right now, starting to bounce. We're going to click over to AMD periodically as people say, like, what car? What car? Just note that the triangle looks like a piece of POS. Triangle is better because Lucas doesn't like Lambos. No, there's not a right answer. That's the thing here. There's not a correct or incorrect answer. But I'm going to give you a little lesson on something like perspective, right? I just want you to see, which one do you think is the better car? This person might be a millionaire who every single day maybe has this Lambo and drives it on the weekend. It's a good time, man. It's worth hundreds of thousands. It's great. This car is probably worth $600. So which car is better? All right, I'm going to just see how many votes we got. And then if we have a decent amount, once we get to about 50 votes, we'll talk about it. They both break down a lot. You can fix this thing with a spring from your TV remote in your house. Oh, Jesus. Hey, still looking at that SPY. Hasn't crossed down on that daily yet. The Lambo, better quality, probably safer, less risk of car blowing up and ending it all. Yeah. Okay. It's a good assessment. Vote, 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 guys. Trying a triangle or the Lambo. Daily chart has not crossed down, but has the 4-hour crossed up? Has the 2-hour crossed up? Not yet. See what happens. We're not looking at 5-minute charts in this type of scenario. 5-minute chart is probably a very rough thing to look at in these scenarios. Unless you're a day trader, I mean, you're probably looking for those little signals. I mean, outside of a daily expected move, I get that. Drive the first one to own the second one. I think that's, yes, Sean, you bet. Which car is better? And then I'm going to give you guys a scenario. Live every day, yes. Firework, yes. Live every day if you'd like to join us here every single morning on YouTube. And we do a closing stream on Rumble every single day as well for the last hour if you would like to join us there as well. The link is in the description. Okay, I can't do that. Dang it. Okay, can I vote? No, I can't vote. I have to go into the stream itself. SPY 552. Well, remember 545 or 5 was it 555? Fuck. Damn it. Of course I forget. Now I gotta go look because my ADHD brain can't remember. Yeah, 5 was it SPY? Sorry, SPY was 555. We lost that. And then we go down to the next point, which is 550. 550 was the point. And then for Friday, it was 545. My apologies. 545. Did we get to 545? We got really, really close to it. All right, one more view over at the two cars. Vote according to what you think. Just what you think. Which car is more important for you? Which car is better for you? Not for everyone in the chat, just for you yourself. Which car is better? Maybe you're thinking, which one would I rather have? I don't know, but which car is better in your mind? This is fun. This is like I finally get to be a psychologist, like my teachers wanted me to be. This is great. Also, I have a great show. Have you guys, if you watch Adolescence, is great. It's like 5 episodes. I think it's on Netflix, if I'm not mistaken. Adolescence is a great show. It was fantastic. 5 more votes, people. 5 more votes. No, Jeff, that's all the info you get. And you are correct to say that, Jeff. I like your style of thinking. Better at what, though? Just better in your mind. It's a very vague question for a particular reason. What is the triangle? It's a Honda, sure. It's a triangle Honda. Worth, You can buy it brand new 2025 for $2,500. Alice in Borderland, yeah. Does the new one come out? Dude, Alice in Borderland was crazy. I think I like that better than the first Squid Games. All right, do we have 50 votes yet? Let me go check. All right, 53 votes. So let's go talk about this. Now, there isn't a right answer. That's the key thing. There is not a right answer. And this is what we're talking about when it comes to even trading, right? There is not a correct answer for someone to give you on the internet because you can make decisions differently, right? So now, just in the chat, tell me if this switches your vote. What if this person, B, right? Now you're going to get more info. Whoever asked Jeff, more info. Okay, B. This is a retired person who has millions of dollars in the bank, and they drive their Lambo maybe like, once a week. Okay? This person, A, can't afford a lot, goes check to check, and has a job that's really, really important. Like really, really important, meaning they're check to check. They have to get to work, right? And this is what they can afford. So do you see how perspective creates the importance, right? Which car is better technically in this scenario for this person? The Lambo or this car? This car. They need something that's easier to fix, easier to find parts, quick, they can maybe fix themselves. Something that's not maybe going to cost a lot of gas. I don't know, probably does, this one, but I wanted to show a shitty car for it. And the big point here is it's about perspective and it's about what's happening to you. I'm sure everyone, if they could, would drive a Lambo to work every single day if they really wanted to. Right? But the perspective is important, and that's actually why I really like that Jeff said not enough info. This car is extremely important to this person. This car, if the person lost their Lambo, but they still have millions of dollars in the bank, do you think they would care? If this car wrecked, how wrecked would this person's life be? If this car wrecked, how wrecked would this person's life be? This person's life would go immediately down. This person's life would go bloop. Right? You're talking about the difference from perspective is all I'm getting at here. It's all a matter of perspective, and that's a big point to make when you're talking about markets. It's your perspective. Are you trying to invest? Are you trying to take a trade that buys you a Lambo? Are you comfortable driving that shitty car while you invest in stocks, even if you have hundreds of thousands of dollars in the bank, right? It's all about perspective at the end of the day. People have the perspective right now that we are going to crash. Okay, awesome. That's fine. I understand how they can have that perspective. I do not, right? I do not think that we are going to crash right now. And if we do, that's fine, right? Because I understand it can happen. And that's the big emoji guys, right? We should probably do this, honestly. We should probably put these guys up throughout the entire week and show how people are thinking, right? Bears are feeding into, oh, we're dropping, this is horrible. And what guy is looking at this right now and going, I'm a little bit skeptical? Probably a day trader, maybe. I don't know. Someone who's looking to take a little play to the upside. We got the angel, and then what was the other guy? It was this guy, right? So the angel's up here, and he's going, ugh, oh God. Now the angel right here, if he bought in here, he's going, yeah, see, I'm right. This person's going, we're going down, down, down. This person's going, right now we're bouncing, so we're going up, up, up. And this person's just like, hey, we could go up or down, but right now we're bouncing off a daily expected move, right? It's all about perspective. And if you make your perspective just right in between these guys, right? If you make your perspective this, and you can put them on the weekly expected moves, and you just go, okay, at all times. Even when it goes here, I'm going to be, If it goes here, I'm going to be, How could this be tricking me? And I might shift in those levels, right? So I might be here right now. $8 to 10 miles per gallon. The triangle. What if the triangle gets 100 miles per gallon? That'd be crazy. That would be crazy. The crazy thing for me is people don't realize like cars have exploded in efficiency. Still to this day, pretty crazy. You can get an SUV with 18 miles per gallon. I think the best car in the 90s got like 18 miles per gallon. The best, what? What's the fucking word? Sedan, whatever it is. Someone bring it up. Let's look at Bitcoin. Let's go look at Bitcoin, and then I will have to potentially hop off. Bitcoin not curling down on the daily. Remember that Bitcoin has this. You know what else does? Ethereum. You know what else did? Ripple. Actually, let's look at Ripple. What's Ripple been doing as well? Ripple going down into the lows. You're probably going, this is crash, crash, crash. Well, we'll see, but getting a wick down here. We'll see what happens. I don't think you have a 4-hour signal. Oh, wait, you do. 4-hour divergence right there. 2-hour probably shows it better. 4-hour can become more complex. 2-hour divergence is here for Ripple. Looks like Ripple is going to attempt to take back that 5-day. And this is a point where you can reverse around that trend. We'll see what happens with Ripple. Does Bitcoin show it? Yes, it does. I was actually looking at this last night, so thanks for bringing it up. Great stuff. There you go. Divergence on the 2-hour. What does that mean? You could potentially see a 4-hour move up. Does that mean it has to be great? It can be, but you're still negative. You're not across that center line. Luke is my new whip. That's right. I actually sold my Lambo and I bought 10,000 triangles and I started my own dealership. Yeah, Steve-O, is that your emotions throughout this morning? You're like, I'm chilling. Wait a second. What's that opened? Oh, God. Oh, God. That opens terrible. Oh, no. We're dropping on the cues below the move. Okay, now I'm pissed. Okay, wait a second. Why are we reversing around? That was surprising. Okay, now we're chilling again. I like it, Steve-O. 62 miles per gallon. Mine is getting me 74. Damn. Oh, yeah, let's look at the DAX. But yeah, you were correct to point out Bitcoin. Bitcoin has not confirmed down on the daily. You know how this does not confirm down on the daily? Turn up a 4-hour chart. Turnaround Tuesday might be closer than you think. It might even be a turnaround Monday. No, I don't know about that. Yeah, smart car is kind of what came to my mind too, actually. Those little robot looking things. Oh yeah, DAX, it did break below the low. Like I said, it's just, I think it was a matter of time. The thing for me was also the weekly chart, I think, as well. Weekly chart crosses down, you'll get more of a weekly pullback type of look because that's not necessarily the best. But I think the first point that I was paying attention to already broke, 22.25. Now we're looking for this. But really, I'm more so looking at 20.4. The last breakout was here, so I think that's where you're going to end up potentially in the next couple of months. It can do whatever in between here. It can do a loop-de-loop and pull, but I think it will end up down towards these areas. Obviously, you got to pay attention if there's any kind of reversal in there at some point, but yeah. DAX, everyone's saying they want to pile into Germany, and I was just like, I don't know if you want to do that right now, man. It looks like the opposite time. Solana looking decent. Pretty much crypto had divergences across the board on the daily scale. Hey, they turned down one more time, but is the downturn violating a lot of things? That's all I'd really be looking for there. The emoji guys, right? This guy right now is like, haha, I'm going to be right. And then it's going to turn down and he's going to start shitting his pants. Pretty much these people switch back and forth all the time, right? These people just do this all the time. Oh, we turned him. Yeah. Well, you know, this guy potentially by the end of the week will be upside down, so maybe we should put him upside down. Yeah, these people just flip back and forth, flip, 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 and this guy just goes. Right? So it's just a better way to be, and once you get in this type of mindset, I think your emotions will start to at least be controllable. You'll still feel them, you're a human, but at least they'll be controllable. So right now, the bulls that were expecting this feel like that. The bears feel like that. And by the end of the day, we could end up like this. And then this guy's just like, Okay, cool. And then right here, he gets real skeptical, and then he starts to do this. Very fun. Maybe we'll leave some emojis up for a little bit. That's fun. You don't have to re-put them on there all the time. Nothing to do, Steve-O? For real? If you have a fleet of cars you don't require, it doesn't require insurance? That's surprising. That's surprising. I think I think we need something different than insurance. I don't like anything that's mandated, really. Especially when, like, here's the crazy part about Teslas, that people who are scratching up Teslas and damaging Teslas, that's really bad for individual people who, really need it, right? The girl in my area who was in a wheelchair and someone keyed her Tesla and did $3,000 to $7,000 worth of damage. Someone put gum and stuck it all the way in some kind of hole or something on the outside of the car, and they caused $3,000 worth of damage. You know what's happening to insurance with Teslas right now? Insurance is climbing fast. You're literally putting a disabled person in this scenario. You're putting average, real, regular Americans like yourself, right, in worse spots by doing that. Please do not vandalize anything. Even if you disagree with anything politically, you will end up affecting other people who might agree with you. You gotta be thinking a little bit further than just, I'm mad at this. It's a child. That's a child. I'm mad at this, so I scratch car. That's a child. Think past it. If I scratch this car and other people scratch these cars with me, I'm going to feel really good, but I'm also hurting other Americans that might even agree with you. Apparently people are literally putting Toyota tags on their Teslas so that people don't key them. Exactly, Terrence. You really think keying a Tesla hurts Elon Musk, one of the richest men on the planet? It's like, nope. Really, it's like anything you do, you can't hurt Elon Musk. You just can't. He has too good of products. He has too good of innovation. Look at Starlink and that kind of thing. If you're trying to hurt Elon, it's just not a good idea. It's like shorting something that's short squeezing, right? It's very difficult to damage him. Is this kindergarten? It is. It is. And I'm not gonna lie, I might have had that mentality before, right? I might have been one of those people that didn't think ahead when I was younger. So I'm not gonna say that I'm a saint and perfect, and I've never done something like that to hurt other Americans, but I've never done it with that to that scale. My goodness. I saw Soylent Green with the bulldozers scooping people. No. I'm gonna check the firm that my firm was doing most business. I said Tesla 252 up again. There you go, Tesla. Let's go. Tesla ain't even that bad. Look at the 2 hour. 2 hour still positive for Tesla, and everyone's so negative on it after this run. I love it. It's like GME. I think this is the perfect thing to happen for GME. Right? Oh no, now oh yes, the squeeze is 100% gonna happen. Oh, now the squeeze is never gonna happen. The manipulate it. And then bam. What if it happens? Right when everyone's really bearish. Do we need to put the emojis up? Right? Everyone's feeling good here, bears hate it. Then everyone's feeling bears love it, bulls hate it. And then it's going to go back up here and it's going to be the same story over and over. It's all just behavior. It's all a lot of psychology going into this. Tesla is not even curled into negative territory on a 2 hour. It could still drop further. Where is that weekly expected move for Tesla? Let's see. Tesla is very, 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 very All right, that was too many varies. Tesla is very unlikely to take out this low this week. If that's taken out, man, you better hope for a V shape. That's a sketchy area to be. You have pretty much like a pretty damn big percentage that you're not going to take out this low. I'd have to go look and actually calculate the percentage, but I can tell you right now it's over 68%. You'd have to see something absolute. You'd have to see the tariff crash pretty much to really see that, or some kind of funkiness. Mostly grown, also a dividend portfolio. That's what's up, Angus. We like those dividends. Dividends ain't bad. Cash flow, baby. Exponential growth, baby. You want me to quickly do a spreadsheet and show you exponential growth? Shoot, I'll just show you this. Bam. Maybe you're here, but in 10 years, you could be here. And in 10 years, you could be here. And then in 10 years, holy crap, you never have to work again. That's why they always say, you know, the earlier you do it, the better. And dividend stocks are great. And I look at necessity dividend stocks, so I've always paid attention to Kroger, some cell phone companies, but I'm not necessarily into that too much anymore. I actually was looking at Toyota, right? Because I like Toyota, so I was checking if it had a dividend this morning. I'm Pickle Rick. Did you recommend to buy SPY looking for 562? I'm not ever going to recommend what you should do, buy or sell. I can talk about decision making in this area, right? And are you saying Pablo, did you mean to say 552 or 562? Future House just got to Big Chick. Future House, make sure you're live with us, okay? Everyone make sure right now that you go down and click that live button. Make sure you're live, okay? Because we talked about that earlier, all right, Future House? If you like those jokes, we give a lot more, we're a little bit more lenient over on Rumble. Good idea, 562. Okay, 562 to 565. Well, you're actually talking about a very good area. And if you're willing to wait for 562 to 565, I would say look for this 4-hour signal, or at least the 2-hour to curl up. And understand that if I take the 2-hour one down in like these type of areas towards 562, just understand, one, for the day, there's a daily expected move, and two, you are negative. Okay, so if you're going to use the 2-hour chart, you can assume some more risk because that might get you in a little bit earlier, but you know, the 4-hour might have to be up here before it actually crosses, okay? So just understand, if you're getting into a trade before the bigger chart confirms, you're always assuming a little bit more risk. And I would say that would be unless I see a solid reversal signal. Now, the funny part about this is I'm still paying attention to this RSI, and we're not coming below these type of levels. So very interesting for the time being. The real signal that if you see this at 562, it happens, and you're able to just see two bars like this, and you go up like that, and that confirms on your MACD and RSI. You'll have plenty of reasons. But waiting for the price action might be the best bet. Waiting for potential reversal signals down here would be the better hint, I would say. Right? If I see reversal signals, I'm ready to pile in. Is on doubling your money with the rule of 72. Great perspective on compound growth. The younger you start, the easier it is. You can literally do like, what is it? What do they say in it? Because it's like, for me, like we're doing super small amounts because we know that Ari is young and she might have more time. Do you know how much money I have started? Like, do you think I just put like $10,000 in a savings account for my daughter? Or do you think I'm going to utilize her time and keep my money to where I can move it around in markets and try to make more? Right, Iran? Rule is 72. So what I did was I just said, hey, for 2024, $200. That's what Ari gets for 2024. And then once we build it up to 1,000, I'm going to look for things to actually put it into so it can grow. And I think I want to increase it to 1,000 by the end of 2025 so that we can start it in case something bad happens here. And then we just add to it little amounts every single year. Children are vampires. They really are. They literally bite you sometimes. So my daughter indented my finger just the other day because she has a new tooth and she wants to try to use it and she thinks it's funny. Mini risk, okay. Tight stop loss, good idea. Volatility is escalated. The weird thing for me about volatility is people are saying crash, and we're 15% down or something in the Qs, right? 15% down in the Qs. I think it's like 12, 11% for the SPY or something like that. And volatility is like barely above 20. I like in perspective. I mean, perspective wise, um, interesting is what I would say. So we'll see. I think we got a good shot at a turnaround Tuesday. I think we have a good shot to make reversal signals down here, but I'm utilizing my time correctly, and that's what's important. Oh, thank you, Lurk and Luke. I'll give it a look. I just realized I've been having fun hanging out with you guys today. If you didn't notice, so we've been on here a little longer. But wifey needs to. We actually took baby girl's been sick. So hopefully you appreciate the videos over the weekend because it's been a little rough over here. It's her first time getting sick. Went to the doctor. Nothing's wrong. Just so you guys aren't worried. She's good and she's a lot better today. But it was going on 3 or 4 days. So today she woke up a lot better. So we appreciate that. But hopefully you guys appreciate the videos over the weekend. I'm glad that the Saturday one did at least get taken in by a lot of people so they understand how trading really is and how it's individual decisions. Thanks, Dawson. I appreciate that. Yeah. But I hope you appreciate this stream too because I got to hop off. That's better than Taco Tuesday? I don't know, man. There's a place like a mile away from my house, man. They do Dollar Street tacos on Tuesday. Ooh. Oh my goodness. Thanks, Royal Palms. Thanks for appreciating it, guys. But I appreciate you guys all the same, and I hope you guys have a great day trading today, okay? I do have to hop off. If you would like to join us for the Rumble stream, can't stand tacos. You're like my wife, Mr. Q. You're like my wife. I never get to eat tacos because she doesn't like them, and she controls the food in our household. I have to beg her every once in a while. I think she gets too much of a kick out of that. Anyway, thank you guys so much for joining today. Really appreciate it. I hope you guys had some fun today. I know that the market was kind of just like sitting in this area. I know we saw some interesting things. I know Amazon went to a weekly expected move. Some other things probably are as well. So if you want to join the Patreon to see if anything has hit a weekly expected move today, you can literally join the Patreon right now for $7. It never increases. It never increases, and you can cancel anytime you want. If it can elevate your trading, it is a very, very useful tool. Maybe some people, as we in the stream, can tell you if they find weekly expected moves helpful or not, if they find monthly expected moves helpful or not, just so you see, not just from me, but you see from people actually in the community. That would be great. So thank you guys so much for joining today. I think the Patreon would be great just because you get the monthly expected move tonight for all the stocks on the right side of your screen, right? So it's fantastic. It can show you when opportunity is there. And that's a fantastic thing. For today, the last thing I just wanted to say was let's pay attention to what we overall talked about over the weekend. Let's not forget everything. Do you have your notes? Do you have everything ready? Because if the 4-hour does curl up here, it is very likely that we could bottom out while everyone is screaming stock market crash. Now, we can head lower. The daily chart can cross down, and that's where we're going to be paying attention to 540. For the time being, if you would like to watch stocks throughout the day, then you might be able to look at a reversal signal that does form here. If we create a reversal signal anywhere in this type of area, I will be paying serious attention to it, and I will notify you guys over on Patreon to the Patreon members. Thank you guys so much for joining today. I hope you guys have a great day. I hope you guys are understanding the decisions that you need to be making today. I hope you have a plan for if your trade is going right, but I hope you have a plan for if that trade starts to go wrong, because longevity, survivability, very, very important for a trader. Thank you guys. I hope you guys have a great day. Peace. Patreon link should be down in the description under weekly expected moves. It might say Patreon in the link, but weekly expected moves should be there. And I need to update the about section because we cover a ton of stocks. So it literally only says we cover like 6. We cover what? How many do we cover? What we get? 1. We give the SPX. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I think I just counted wrong. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22 right now. You can get 22 weekly expected moves, 22 monthly expected moves, and daily expected moves on Friday for $7. Crazy. I take my time with it every single Sunday for you guys. I hope you guys are doing well with them. I hope they are useful for your trading. If they're not, no hard feelings. I totally understand if something isn't useful to you. I don't want you sitting wasting even $7 on it, okay? Make sure it's helpful for your trading, all right? Peace out, guys. Have a good day.